Okay. um, Let me tell you where I am right now. This is podcast number 7, video 2, part 4 of 4. And it is September 19th, 2018. And right now I'm extremely dizzy. And let me tell you why. I'm a diabetic. And I am in the middle of the Yom Kippur fast. That is good. You will go into the book of life. You are no longer committing sin. And I am the great Jew atheist. Why I'm doing this, hell I know. I'm not going to go to heaven because there is no heaven, and God will not judge me because God doesn't judge. There is no God. Okay, so I'm trying to get I was saying we can take things for religion, and I'm starting to shake a little bit. So I think my blood sugar might be very low, and maybe I should eat something. I took some metformin earlier, so maybe it's time. But I'm gonna give it another hour, and if I can, I might have to do this when I'm homeless. You'll be homeless. I keep hearing that, so I'm a little worried about this. So I might have to be a little uncomfortable at times. So I'm gonna give it another hour, and if I can't take it, I'll get something to eat. Yeah, turkey burger or something, a little couple of peanuts or something. But I'm looking forward to the break fast, and that's always good. Um, again, you might ask me, I think it's just a good thing to do the fast. I think, I did have a few taco chips by accident. Then I realized I broke the fast. I had a little water. I had a little, maybe I'll have a little more of that, a little more drink. Yeah, a little of that. I'll have a little bit more. And so again, you might ask me, well, I think it's good for, I did it as a kid, and I think these things are. I mean, even in our religion, I think they're good to do. Some kind, um, you know, I guess the promise that you'll go to heaven and the Mashiach will come, and they're prizes that are not going to happen. You have to be delusional to think them, but I think that's why Jews do so well. And I mean, it's not only their intelligence is more, they have a discipline, and the discipline gets focused on many times education, and they become very good students. I mean, it's just there's data on this. There's no lies about this. So I could afford to lose weight. So right now I think it's 4:15, and it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I think I can make it. I'm not going to be comfortable. I'm a little dizzy. The room's kind of spinning a little bit. So I'm going to try. And the worst that can happen is I had a couple of mints too. Let me see how many calories this has. It's like not much. 45. Okay, so I have a little in me, enough to um, to make it. Okay, so today, the topic is psych ward, and this is going to definitely be. Oh, I should have put it on. Oh fuck, I should have put it on airplane mode. But let me get done with this first. Um, so we're going to probably hit the 4 other people. Um, Jew for Jesus, girls, cutters, bodybuilders. Uh, And the best one is Monroe, because he was real. This guy is. I call him Monroe. I don't want to use his real name because he might come and kick my ass. And this guy was just, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This guy was more annoying than every patient combined. I mean, so Jew for Jesus. What's odd? There weren't many patients I experienced, but there were 3. And Jews for Jesus among Jews, any religious Jews, any Jew, are really annoying because it's that's it goes against Judaism. Judaism is a religion about not believing in Jesus. That's why they're Jews. So they basically say we're Jews but believe in Jesus. And one of them was the what's that girl's name? Princess. I'm Jewish for Jesus. And we had another one. She was really cute. She looked a little bit like Mia Farrow, who I follow on Twitter. and I forget her name. And she was in for, I guess, I don't know. She was studying art therapy, and she was nice, cute, nice bosom, nice looking girl, like 25, and I got to know her a little, and very nice girl, and very pretty. But she heard voices, Now, a little strange, but on the EP scale, I think I would have gotten into that, if I had a chance. So it wasn't bad. She had problems with her mother, heard voices, and guess what? She's a Jew for Jesus. She accepted Jesus as her salvation. And then the one I'm going to talk about. See, I already talked about. What's her name? Princess, right? So we're going to talk about it. Now, to hide her identity, I'm going to give her a different name. Because she claims she was a lawyer, but I think she's a little delusional, and we're going to find out why. Her name on the podcast will be Helen, okay? And she was a little delusional. So I don't know if she was really a lawyer. So I remember they brought her in, and she was about 59 and a half, I gather. Not old enough. They actually have, in the Zucker, they have a senior citizens wing. And so she wasn't old enough to be in the senior citizens wing. So she talked like this. I was a... So every time she would tell a story, I remember in 1997, I was downtown with some of my girlfriends, and we were going to a play downtown. So we stopped at Woolworths to get a ice cream. And we got the ice cream. I checked out this beautiful dress, and the dress was orange, and it had a sequin pattern around it. And the sequin pattern was beautiful. But my girlfriend thought I could get it cheaper at Macy's. So I went to Macy's the next day, and it was more expensive. So I was always mad at my girlfriend. And it just, these bizarre, convoluted, maybe I do again, you get mad at people that have similar behaviors at you. Maybe I have these convoluted, I don't think I'm that bad. I go off on tangents, but my stories aren't. See, there's a difference between tangents and convoluted stories. So she has these convoluted stories, but and the stories go nowhere. They don't really go anywhere. I have points to my story, I try to give, I have a main point, and I try to give you an example, like a professor almost. So there's these crazy convoluted stories. So we talked to Helen, and, basically, I try to get away from her. Now, poor Jean and Diana, my clique, basically. So they're becoming a clique at this point. And she, and I'm feeling really bad because she will not shut the fuck up. She just, I don't know why. I should have because they can't say to her, listen, Helen, shut the fuck up. Oh boy. So I can't say it to her. I mean, I'm like, Helen. Oh, okay, I think I remember how. So she keeps going, I remember 1987, I was watching, 1986, I was watching the Challenger disaster, and my first son, and she had this, so she claimed she was a lawyer, and she went to all these schools, and she got a scholarship, and again, as I found out, she was a little delusional, so... And again, the old saying applies, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. So I was like, maybe she was a lawyer. I don't know. Should have asked her for her bar association membership. Oh, I don't have it. I took everything away. Now, she was 59 and a half, but she looked 70 to put a thing on it. So... The first thing, and I could be a little rabble-rousing. She wasn't a threatening woman, so we started talking about, my favorite topic, evolution. And she basically said, I don't believe in evolution. And that really got me upset. Because evolution is not something you believe in. It's a fact. There is no theory anymore. There's so much evidence to it. I mean, just common sense. You look at a cat, a house cat, and you look at a dog, and then you say, okay, a cat is very similar to a leopard, and a leopard is very similar to a lion, and a lion or a dog is very similar to a wolf, or species of dogs or breeds of dogs are very similar to each other. they're artificially selected by humans to have different traits. I mean, in dogs, there is no, there's no doubt about it. In fruits, an orange, the difference between an orange and a grapefruit and a lemon. I mean, come on, they're pretty much the same thing, except humans is fiddled around. In fact, oranges probably in nature were they weren't sweet, and we made them really sweet, and that's why orange juice is probably not that healthy anymore. So I was just kidding around. I said, you know what? I intimated that I didn't believe in God, and I said, and my job, God, I was kidding around. I said, God has placed me here to make you believe in evolution, and it kind of like made her mad. And she goes, you don't, and I forgot, she got really mad. She said, you don't pay my bills, and you don't, and then all of a sudden, she just exploded on me. You don't pay my bills, and you don't, and you don't talk to me. My husband comes, he's gonna settle this with you. My husband was 72 years old. I'm like cracking up. You don't talk to me. And she like started yelling at me. And like before this also we had a couple of other runs. It's like I felt bad for Jean, and I mean, she wasn't a bad person. I just wanted to shut her up a little. She could have her talks. I mean, I was the same way, and I couldn't shut up either. I talk for fucking hours. People need to say shut up, and I keep talking. Shut up, shutting up. That's from the Bugs Bunny cartoon, famous one. Shut up, rabbit. Shut up, shutting up. So, like, there was another situation. So I was trying to figure out how best to poor Jean and Diane, and they eventually said, "Yeah, you're right. She doesn't shut the fuck up." So I said, Helen. What's really good, Helen? She goes, "What?" I go, "Quiet time. Everybody needs a little quiet time. Let's take like 5 minutes. We'll just mellow out and have quiet time." "I don't understand what you're saying." That's funny. The husband comes in one day, and I'm sitting, and she actually starts coming over. He's a little guy. He's like 72 years old. Oh my God! I should have stood up. I said, "Listen, you don't have to tell me. I won't talk to her anymore." And so actually, she had some medical issues. High blood pressure. It was a fucking mess. Like she smelled like I can't smell anymore. I think because of the coke. I just can't smell. And people would complain she never took showers. I really didn't smell her. I didn't smell her. And she came back. When she came back the second time, we were very civil. And I said, this time I'm going to be, and I apologized. I said, listen, I'm sorry. And we actually, she was Jewish, I was Jewish. And we started talking. She did mention again, Jesus is my personal savior and this bullshit, it's fucking nuts. And she was losing it. She thinks she'd probably get a disability, She was really worried she'd lose her disability. She'd walk with a walker. What a stink. Then I got a whiff of her. I was like, holy shit. Everyone's complaining how bad she smelled. And I said like a bad foot odor. It's just horrendous. I couldn't imagine how bad that vagina is. I mean, that was the worst. And now, I didn't think she was delusional. Till one day, and I had her on some new drugs. I had her like Bupriron, Wellbutrin. I need something. I don't want to go back to cigarettes. I buy them off my disability payments. They're $13 a pack in Queens, but I buy them anyway. So she goes to me, I have something to tell you, but don't tell anyone else. The doctors think I'm 7.5 months pregnant. I heard it all. But here's this 59.5-year-old woman with a 72-year-old husband telling me that she's 59.5-year-old. I immediately go. Now, this is before I try to say this is bullshit, but without being mean or... So I'm thinking to myself, natural. See, there are women who've had babies after 72. After 59.5, but they had it in vivo fertilization. So the guy didn't come and fuck them, and they had a baby. So I did some research. It's called a natural mother. Now I remember looking in the Guinness Book of World Record. There was a woman, and she looked real. I'm 53. I mean, she looked like she was 70. She had a baby. I mean, she must have been older at the time, because I remember she must have been in her 60s or something. And the girl must have been 10 years old, so she must have been 66 or something. And so the girl must have been 10 years old. She had the baby when she was 56. Back then, the oldest natural mother was 56. So I did some research in that. So I found, so doing that on Google, and again, who knows how, the 59 is the oldest natural mother. So the chances, assuming there's 3.5 million women in the world, and some other assumptions, how many people are 59 and older, I generously calculated the odds at about 100 million to 1, okay, that she can have a baby, we're going to have a baby, and he's going to be addicted to crack and heroin. So I generously calculated the odds at 100 million to 1. So, so I wanted to approach it not to offend. I was like, Helen, you're full of shit. I wanted to approach it in a way that would not offend her. So I said, really? I never heard. See, I looked in the Guinness Book of World Records, and I remember as a kid, the oldest woman to have a baby was 56. And she goes, oh, no, there's something called perimenopause. I go, really? I've never heard of this before. And she says to me, yeah, I was very late. I remember I had my first period when I was 18 years old. Oh, really? Wow. And I didn't have all my periods, and that's why I still have periods when I'm 59 and a half. I was like, I was ready to, I was holding... I think I went to my room and started fucking cracking up. So, perimenopause. So, one of the problems was access to information, internet. I was going crazy. So, I said, I got to look this up. And sure enough, I went to perimenopause, and it was total nonsense. I found out the 59 was the natural mother was the oldest age, and I also she also said to me, "Oh, you know what happened with the?" She goes, "You know what happened? The doctors believe I'm gonna lose the baby now. I have uterine cancer." She's gonna lose the baby. She has uterine cancer. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. She was 59, looks wise, and half going on 75. I mean, she looked horrendous. She never showered. She was fat. She was just a fucking mess. She talked about, oh, my husband, my first husband, he used to beat me up. I wonder why. You come to me, he beat you up. I beat you up. No, I'm just kidding. I would never beat a woman up. But, so those are the Juice for Jesus girls. Okay, so we're moving along, although Monroe might take a time. And the cutters, this is general class. Now, a lot of people were cutters. First of all, Diana was a cutter. There was this really good-looking guy. He was like an Indian guy, and he was a cutter. I even said, "You're a really good-looking guy." I said to him, "You must thought I was a gay guy or something." He was a cutter, and Monique was a cutter, and she had these big scabs, and she would cut them, and it was really. Now Monique, I'm sorry, the princess, she was a cutter. And almost everybody there was a cutter. It was bizarre, the Mia Farrow girl, she was a cutter. I mean, it was just such a widespread phenomenon. I guess a lot of people had this borderline personality issue, drug abuse, borderline's very common when they cut, When I first got there, and so there was a lot of cutters. When I first got there was also there's a lot of cool girls. And I was mentioning Lisa. She was cool, and she was like a bodybuilder, and she had still had a really good body, but she walked with a walker. And I was trying to figure out what happened to her, and when it happened to her, and it came out that she had a spinal infarction, which means that she had a stroke to her spine, which is really messed up. And I also later found out through, I'm going to have your baby, that she had breast cancer. I think she had a breast removed. And when I asked it was funny. When I asked Diana about it, "What, do you want to have sex with her?" I go, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, of course. I'm a guy. I want to have sex with everybody." That's what I'm not very. You know what? I want to have sex with everyone but you. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm here for. There's one other. And so there's a couple of girls that weren't bad looking. And there's a girl named Cindy I thought was pretty good. She was probably one of the better looking girls. And she was fucked up though. I mean, she had like nice long blonde hair, and she was cute. I mean, she was like one of probably the cutest girl there. She had nice titties, and I just stare at her. I'm like, oh, fuck this girl. so this is pretty short. So we'll close with my favorite character. It's almost painful to talk to him. You just bring back memories. So we'll call him Monroe because we don't want to mention his name. So like a few days away, I think, from leaving. He's like a Thursday, Friday. Probably it's even a Friday, right? So I'm thinking, yeah, it's Friday. It's Friday in the afternoon, and all of a sudden they wheel this. Yeah, so they bring some people in, and it's like a dark-skinned kid, and he, he's a little muscular, so he gets off the gurney and immediately takes off his shirt. And he's like showing all his muscles, and he walks right into the face of one of the, an African American greenie, and he's like, takes his shirt off. He goes, "Yo, you giving me lip? You giving me lip?" And he tries to like start a fight, and apparently, so I find he's been there before, and he's just like a poser. He's like just like a guy. He's like really fucking, and then so this first thing, and like it takes like a fucking, everyone's watching him. He's just trying to be like a dick, trying to show he's tough, and takes like almost half an hour for him to finally, I mean, stop this. I forgot how it finally, was resolved. So finally he gets out, and so, okay, so the first thing that got really annoying is like at mealtime. So first of all, he used to walk around with his shirt off, and the greenies had to yell at him, "Put your shirt on." He had that fucking underwear thing going on. You know what the underwear thing is when these young kids, they wear their shorts low and their underwear up. I don't know what this world's coming to. I really don't. Go get it. What's going on? The love that the whole world wear the lips, and all the guys are gonna have their, they're gonna wear suits and they're gonna wear the underwears up with knobs, right? That's gonna be, that's the future. That's the future. What a great future we have. So supper would come. So the first days here, so it's supper time. It's Friday night, and he's, yo, where's dinner? So this is a wonderful. So we find out his ethnicity. He's like half Colombian, half Moroccan. He's walking around this shirt off. He's like, here's another thing that really starts to annoy me. He goes, he gets his spit out, right? And he spits like in the garbage can. No manners, this guy. I mean, so he plays basketball. Like, I'm sitting outside. So we have fresh air time. He's playing basketball. He's really, he's actually a very good basketball player. I mean, he's not probably tall. No, he's probably like 5'11". He's a little taller than me. But the ball will come out, and he's just like totally. He has like some mania or something issues. He's like, they got to bring him down because he's like so manic. This kid, he's just like a 23-year-old kid. He's like manic, and he's like really annoying. Like anything he does, he got to be the center of attention. Every morning you got to fist bump him. You're trying to get some quiet, and like I couldn't take him anymore. It's like I had to get the remaining 3 days. I think 3 nights. I was here Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. I had to get Atarax. I couldn't take him, and my brother came Sunday night with his son, and my brother gave this like speech, and I don't know, it was about corrective action. Actually, he had some good things to say. My other brother, the more aggressive one, and he had some good things to say, and he came over, he fist bumped him, and I got really pissed the next day when he came over. I said, first of all, I was like, I got to, because I was really stressed out over, first of all, my family didn't tell, I was supposed to leave on Monday. They didn't tell me, I didn't know, I couldn't go home because my home was not available. My apartment was not available. It wasn't cleaned out. It was infested with vermin. It's just a bad scene. And my family had told me I was stressed from this kid. He really stressed me out. In fact, the crazy Irish guy was the only guy that he looked up. Actually looked up to the crazy Irish guy. So that was a good thing. He kind of kept him in control. But even at the end, the crazy Irish guy was ready to like he couldn't take him anymore. So the last day, so I'm walking, I'm in my gown. So, if you run out of clothing, you can wear your gown, which is like kind of, you look like a fucking asshole. So I'm walking, he tries to get in front of me, and I stop and I let him do it, and I'm like, just hold your cool. So then I'm like in the chairs trying to get away from Princess, because she's annoying the shit out of me. In fact, I had a blow up with her, like, and I said, listen, keep away from me. And she got mad, and I eventually apologized to her, and so what happened was I'm in the chair area where you could get away from people, and he comes up to me, do a fist of mine. I said, just keep away, keep away. He goes, yo, 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 I got a hater. And so eventually I just got up and said, listen, you start up with me, you start with the staff, and I just got really mad at him. I got up and he started yelling because, so he starts staring me down he's got these eyes that, it's like, he's a sick puppy, this kid. I mean, he got some scary mother. He stares you down. He goes, listen, I'm 53 years old. I got diabetes. You want to beat me up? Go ahead, beat me up, I said to him. Kind of got this from Kristen. And he goes, I'll see you in South Jamaica. I go, yeah, I'm going to South Jamaica. I'm going to go to fucking South Jamaica, So later on, we make up, kind of, And I just say, you got to keep your boundaries, dude. You got to, he has no boundaries. And I mean, just the last 3.5 days, I just couldn't take this kid. I mean, he just keeps on popping up like a jack. So you go to group, we have the group, and he pops up everything. So, like I had something like, what the 3 activities you do? I like to smoke and pop with my girl. And then, like, everything, he's on the phone and, and fucking and this and that. And he's just so fucking annoying. And he's like popping up and running around. And he's always in your view. You can't, it's like Gina in a little bit, but more dangerous. Like, you don't know. Like, I think he's more of a poser, I don't think he was dangerous. I mean, I think the staff knew. They never put him on a one-on-one. He never actually got into a fight. He just knew, he also, he just really nasty to women. He goes, like, he had this black girl. She was she was, what do they call it when they clean up? And she goes to her, you ugly bitch, just like in front of me. And she was like, whatever. And she handled it well, he knows where this is coming from. And so, I think I heard this through someone. She goes to another girl, oh, I hit bitches too. I mean, just, and everyone, like, and I eventually came to the point where I said, I was trying to reason through this, and I said, eventually I'm trying to fathom, and again, the brain is like the heart, it's an organ. If the organ doesn't work well, should we blame the person, right? Should we blame? Now, obviously, at a certain point, you got to separate the person if the person is causing damage to other people. So, because we can't have that, as Sam Harris so eloquently put. So, we can't blame people for their behavior at a certain point because it's the brain that's causing this behavior. And so, my theory is, do you ask a heart patient, do you ask them to go out and run a mile, in 8 minutes, or run a mile, any mile? I'm sure they couldn't do it, with a bad heart, they'd probably die, right? So can you ask this kid, and they have him all drugged up, and he comes out like this sometimes, then he wakes up, he's like all manic again, and it's not working, the drugs don't work, and like, can you ask this kid? And and Princess, he had big problems with Princess, he'd go, mama, and, he used to call the Helen, not Ellen. That's might be a real name, but he used to call Helen grandma, and he used to always just try to sit at our table and bother Princess, and Princess hated. That's one thing I agree with Princess. I hated this guy, and I said to her, listen, I totally agree. I can't stand this guy, but I tried. I blew up at him. I couldn't stand him. And one of the nurses, like big guy Tom, he's a cool guy. He said, "Listen, don't get into it with them." I said, "Listen, Tom, there comes a point I couldn't take this guy. I just can't take him. I had to get Atarax like 3 days in a row. I just could not fucking take this guy. I mean, he was just unnerving me. Like Gina unnerved me, because when you're trying to concentrate, you know, and these people that you don't like, spitting again, they come to your table. You you just can't take him, and so at the end I hugged him, and he's like trying to make nice to me, and it's just a pathetic guy. I mean, I don't, I said to crazy Irish guy, let's call him. I said, listen, this guy if he continues on his road, he's going to end up two places, in jail or dead. And the crazy Irish guy didn't react. I don't know how he took that. Like, I kind of think he was like, at first, oh, this is a good kid. He's just a little nutty. And then towards the end, he was like, this kid is fucked up. And I don't know. Is it he really has a brain disorder? My opinion is we could have changed him early on with a good kick in the ass. I mean, he needed a father whip his fucking ass, Oh, so in the incident I had with him, I just blew up at him, and I apologized later to him. I said, sorry, I was out of bounds. And so it's funny. He goes, this white boy's a hater. I never said anything about his race. He's like Moroccan and Colombian. So he goes, he's a racist. I never said anything about his race. I have no whatchamacallit about his race. I never said anything. Could have been a white guy, I'm scared of all people. I'm equally terrified of white guys, black guys, Asian. It could be an Asian guy. They fucking know karate. I mean, who the fuck knows jujitsu? I don't know. So I'm trying to think of, before I close this out, some random stuff. Then I'm going to go into the shower. And first I'll upload this and I'll go into the shower. So, one thing I could say, they got me off of Klonopin. I'm not happy with what I'm on now, Depakote. Let's see what else. They had hot nurses and really hot greenies, a lot of them. And I even asked one, can I be a greenie? If I need it, I thought like it could be an emerge, but you can't be in a psychiatric ward for 2 years to be a greenie, which makes no sense. I mean, who better to know what the place is than me? I've seen it, It's like, I've seen it and I understand, what can happen, so, fucking mosquito. It's, and I saw, it's funny, I was going on Yelp today and looking at some of the comments, and, I agree with the comments. It's a money-making thing. It's bad, they're understaffed. Is it understaffed because they have to make money? It's a business. They have to make, people don't understand that. They have to make money. That's why they're understaffed. It's not, one more thing. That a mosquito with me spitting again. One thing about Jefferson. So one of the last things I seen, it was like Monday, and it was weird because most people are out. So I was released on Monday, August 6th. Okay, so most people are out, and it took them a long time because I had a situation that I couldn't go back to my apartment, and I think it took a long time before my sister Dale finally manned up or womaned up and finally took me in. And now it's been 1 month and 12 days. And I thank her, again, if she ever sees this podcast, I thank her for my life, She didn't do it. And so the next few months could be really difficult if I, run out of money. So I have to go to a food kitchen probably, but ain't too proud to beg. And I have plans, actually. I might try to beg. It's going to be funny at first. I'll tell you about some of my plans. Need money for cable TV. Brother just sent me a message. I'm going to tell him after this I have a plan to beg for cable TV on the subway. So Here's one of the last things, Monroe. This came back too. So Monroe always wanted to see the doctor, and the doctor in the unit, Doctor, we'll call him Doctor Singh. He was a gay man. Nothing wrong with that. Again, but again, I always people say, well, why is it important you say he's an African American? Why? Well, I always, just for me to get memories back. It has nothing really to do with the person. It brings back memories. Say he's a gay, it brings back the picture. He has these nice eyebrows. They were nicely done. So Dr. Singh was not available. I think it was the weekend. So another doctor, he looked like an Irish guy. So I'll never forget this. So Monroe is sitting behind me, and the doctor, I guess he knows this guy from the past, and he knows how to handle him, I would hope. So Monroe gets up, and so he talks to him before. Monroe gets up, and he gets right in his face, and I'm like, this is not good. And so the doctor takes his hands and puts them by his back, and Monroe's literally in his face for like 3 or 4 minutes. And I'm like, this is not good. I mean, like very how did the doctor put up with it? I mean, he must know. They must know what. I mean, but how can you ever be sure? Like they must know. They must know like what a patient's going to do. They must not. I mean, this is like a textbook. What this guy's going to do. Okay, he's in my face. I know his past history. He must have known this patient from before because he's been to the psych ward in the Sucker Hospital a few times, and he must know he's not a threat. He's a poser, right? It's probably called a poser, and the worst thing he could do is move away. It's like a predator. Just stay there. If you run away, he's going to chase you. So but I don't know. How can you feel? I mean, I'm sure after work, if you're an Irish guy, drank a lot of beer, but there's a psychiatrist or resident or whatever he was. I mean, he just stood there. It was like, he was just he just put his hands behind his back, and it was weird. It's like he didn't even flinch, but you would just expect the distance, the physical distance between Monroe and this guy. I mean, there may be like a quarter of an inch. It was, I mean, I was like, wouldn't one of the greenies come in and say, no, I mean, this is very, I mean, I was uncomfortable, just seeing this. So, Jesus, what else we could talk about Monroe? He was a very good basketball. I'd give him that. He was a really good basketball player. He was talked about he wants to play for the Knicks. Now, again, I don't know that, but he could probably try out for one of these D-League teams. I was telling him, first you got to go get a tryout for a D-League. He was really good. I mean, he could hit like every shot he was hitting. He's a very good player. But he was, he's an interesting lad. It's funny. So I forgot how this came up. So we were in the Day Area, and we were discussing like different strengths we had and different skills. He goes, "Oh, I'm very good at global studies." I'm like, "What the fuck's that?" That and $2.75 could get you a Metro card. It's like global studies. What the fuck? You major in global studies in college. Maybe you can teach it possibly. Get an education degree in teaching and global studies. So, so I think we covered everything. I'm trying to think what else I could get to. We talked about the hot nurses. There's like 2 of them. They're just incredible. There's some really hot greenies. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. That's like the last place I think of. If I was a hot girl, I want to go into nursing. I mean, or become a mental health worker. I think that would be the last place. I mean, psychiatric nursing. I mean, holy shit. Wouldn't you say? Well, I heard someone said on the Yelp that a nurse, one of the hot ones was a nurse practitioner. She's making $98,000 a year, which is a good salary. I mean, I make 72. When I'm working, and they haven't fired my ass. So. Most nurses, I know many nurses. They're probably like spit again. They're probably making like 80,000 and probably supplementing their income. They're probably working in another hospital. They work like 12-hour shifts. Let's say full-time jobs. That's 36 hours. They probably work another 12-hour shift somewhere. And so, I think they could do that, or another, they substitute. So they probably make like 85 to 90. Not a bad salary. And so, okay, so that's good. I think 40 minutes is good. I didn't go too long, I'm probably forgetting a lot of time. 4 days of this guy, you cannot imagine. He's just jumping around every second, and I'm just seeing him because I'm worried about this guy. He's jumping, moving, pumping, fist pumping. He's just like shot out of a cannon. I never seen someone with so much energy. It was like, this guy's like shot out of a cannon. I can't imagine if this guy gets old, like, it's gonna be a big letdown, dude. You're gonna be old one day if you get old, and he's not gonna make it. He can't. He's just, the wrong guy's gonna fucking beat the crap out of him, stab him, shoot him, and But I think he's opposed. Like, he picks his situations. Like, in the psych ward, like the first thing he does is come and try to intimidate everyone. And in jail, he's probably like really quiet because some black guy's gonna fucking kick the living shit out of him. I'm pretty sure. So he has tattoos on his face, and it's just like, calls everyone mama. He's disrespectful the way he's just like a scumbag too. And like, and we had this girl, and it's a very bright girl. It's like, she's saying again, everyone's a little, I don't know. She was saying in the groups that she wants to go for a PhD in English, and she's saying very well spoken, so I don't doubt that. So what the thing is that she made friends with Monroe, and she was saying that she would keep in touch with him after she left. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea. How can she find this guy even palatable? He's jumping in and out. He's going around. He's calling all the women bitches, and I hit bitches too. And how can she even find him even remotely? He's not even an attractive guy. I guess maybe some women find men that are kind of wild, outlaws, attractive for some reason. I guess there's a reason for that, and I don't understand it because I'm not like that. I'm like, I want women to be like what I want, but the reality is, there's a menu for that. I don't know what you call it. A market for that. That's what you say. So there's a market for that type of woman. So that's the reason. So what's that? More spit. There's a market for that. So okay. So that's gonna wrap up podcast number 7, video number 2, part 4 of 4. I'm gonna message my brother back, and I'm gonna tell him my plans on how to make extra money, and then I'm going to upload this as I go into the shower, and what is it, 4:55? So I think I gotta make it like 2 hours more, about maybe less. I feel pretty good right now. I don't feel dizzy anymore. I was feeling a little dizzy, and so I pretty much made it. Again, I had a little slip up. I had a little water and a couple of sucking candies, and okay, well, thank you for listening. And again, if you have any comments or feedback, anything you want to say, anything I said incorrect, any factual information, I think everything I say is correct, actually. I don't give any bum steers. I think I don't footnote things, but I could give something that's incorrect if you're a doctor, if you're, say anything legal. I'm not a lawyer. I don't talk legal information. I talk a lot about psychiatry, psychology, because I'm in the system. So if I talk something wrong, if you work in the psychiatric field and you work in a psychiatric ward or hospital, and you work at Zucker Hospital, please drop me a line at greatjewatheist@gmail.com. If you recognize me as one of the patients, I recognize that guy. If you want to fuck me, you can email it too. I doubt that. Okay, so thank you, and if you're Jewish, have a wonderful Yontiv. I think that's called. Great Jew Atheist. I'm signing off. Bye-bye.